When Anthony joined Betis on loan, many people said it was the end of his top career. But as soon as Anthony came to Betis, he showed what he could do. In his debut game, he won an MVP award, and in the next 3 games he scored goals and provided assists, one after another. So far, Anthony has played 7 matches for Betis, scoring 3 goals and making 2 assists. After his bad time at Manchester United, many people thought he would never return to his Ajax form. But the Brazilian player is proving that the problem was not with him, but with Manchester United. Anthony is not the only player whose career got worse after joining Manchester United, and in today's video we will look at the top 10 players whose careers went down after moving to Manchester, and we'll also make a symbolic team from them. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Yo is Nani Football, let's get started. Radamel Falcao. Radamel Falcao's move to Manchester United was meant to be a blockbuster. Instead, it turned into one of the most talked about flops in the club's history. Arriving on loan in 2014, with a reputation of a deadly strikers in Europe, the expectations were sky high. However, he managed to score only 4 goals in 29 appearances, a shadow of his former self. Several factors played into Falcao's struggle at United. Firstly, he was still recovering from a major injury, suffered months before joining, which greatly affected his pace and mobility. Without his former physical capabilities, Falcao found it hard to keep up with the demanding pace of Premier League. Additionally, the tactical approach under manager Louis van Gaal didn't suit him. The team's play style was slower and more possession-oriented, so he often looked out of the place in United's setup, struggling to connect with the midfield and finish the created big chances. Competition for a starting lineup was fierce, with Wayne Rooney and Robin van Persie also competing for the forward positions. This limited his opportunities to get a consistent run of games, crucial for a player needing to find his rhythm after injury. Falcao's time at Manchester United ended without the club choosing to make his move permanent. His move is often cited as an example of a transfer gamble that didn't pay off, primarily due to poor timing and the clash of different playing styles. Donny van de Beek. Many former Ajax footballers joining Manchester United recent years: Anthony, Onana, De Ligt or Mazraoui. But among them there is a player who completely failed and maybe finished his top footballing career: Donny van de Beek. Donny joined Manchester United with high expectations, but he soon struggled to find his place in the team. The Dutch midfielder, famous for his great performances at Ajax, was expected to improve United's midfield when he arrived in 2020. However, his time at Old Trafford became frustrating because he didn't get enough chances to play and show his true potential. Even though he was successful in the Eredivisie and the Champions League, Van de Beek was rarely in the starting lineup in Manchester United. He started only 4 Premier League games. Many people found this surprising because he was very good at passing and scoring from a midfield, skills that made him a key player at Ajax. The playing style of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and later Ralf Rangnick didn't suit Van de Beek. He plays best as an attacking midfielder, where he can move into the box and create chances for the forwards. At United, he was often played in a deep position, which made it harder for him to affect the game in attack. There was also strong competition in midfield, with players like Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes and Fred being preferred. Because of this and his struggle to fit into the team's tactics, Donny van de Beek spent a lot of time on the bench. The player left Manchester on loan to the clubs like Girona, Everton and Eintracht Frankfurt, but since then he never shown his true potential. Alexis Sanchez. One of the most hyped mid-season transfers, Alexis Sanchez to Manchester United, is in 8th place. The Chilean forward arrived from Arsenal in a swap deal involving Henrik Mkhitaryan, with the expectations sky high due to his previous Premier League successes. Sanchez scored only 5 goals in 45 matches for the club, which was a big disappointment for Manchester United fans. At United, his performance was poor. He often looked slower and struggled to fit into the team's style of play. There were many reasons for his failure at United. First, the way team play didn't suit him. Sanchez was used in different attacking positions, but he never found a regular position. Jose Mourinho and later Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't find a system that used his best skills, which at Arsenal were cutting inside, dribbling past defenders and creating chances. Also, Sanchez joined United during a difficult time for the club. The team changed managers often and didn't have a clear plan. This, along with the high expectations and his huge salary, put a lot of pressure on him to perform well immediately. Another problem was his fitness and form. After joining Manchester United, his performance dropped quickly. He suffered from injuries, which made it hard for him to find consistency and play like he did at Arsenal, where he was one of the best attackers in Premier League. In the end, Alexis Sanchez's time at Manchester United was a very expensive mistake. It showed how big transfer can fail because of tactical, physical and mental challenges. Mason Mount. Many football fans expected Mason Mount to shine at Manchester United after Thomas Tuchel left Chelsea. Mason is known for his creativity and versatility, was supposed to make a big impact after successful years at Chelsea. However, things didn't go as planned at Old Trafford. Mount struggled to find his place in a team that was often inconsistent and changing its tactics. Even though he had the ability to score and assist, his role in the squad was never clearly defined. With different coaches managing the team during his time there, he was moved around the different midfield and attacking positions. This made it difficult for him to build confidence and play at its best. The competition for midfield spots at United was also very strong. Many experienced players and new signings were fighting for limited positions, as McTominay, Fred Fernandes and Sofiane Amrabat. Because of this and the lack of the clear tactical plan, Mount didn't get enough chances to prove himself over a long period. His struggles also showed a bigger problem at Manchester United with how the club plans its transfers and develops players. Even very talented players like Mount can fail to perform if the club doesn't have a clear strategy for them. Despite his hard work and technical skills, his potential was not fully used, making his time at the club more frustrating than successful. Lukaku. When Manchester United signed Romelu Lukaku for 75 million in 2017, fans had high hopes. He had been top goal scorer at Everton and many expected him to continue his success at Old Trafford. At first, Lukaku performed well, scoring 16 Premier League goals in his first season. But after that, his form dropped, leading to heavy criticism and eventually a transfer to Inter Milan in 2019. Lukaku's struggles at United were not just about the scoring goals. The team's style of play and frequent managerial changes made things harder for him. Under Jose Mourinho, he played as a traditional target man, using his strengths to hold up the ball. This role suited him well. However, when the tactics changed under Mourinho and later Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Lukaku often found himself alone in attack, receiving little support from midfield and wingers. This tactical problem also affected his confidence. The pressure from fans and media grew, and his first touch and finishing, which were once his strengths, became weaknesses. As a result, his performances suffered, and he struggled to play with the same self-belief he had at Everton. Another issue was his fitness and movement. Many criticized his weight and the physical conditions, which became a major talking point. Instead of focusing on his goal-scoring ability, discussions often centered around whether he was fit enough to play at his best. This created a tense relationship between Lukaku and the club's supporters. Bastian Schweinsteiger. Many believed that Bastian Schweinsteiger would be a game changer for Manchester United when he arrived in 2015. The German midfielder had an incredible career at Bayern Munich, and fans expected him to bring leadership and experience to the team. At first, under Louis van Gaal, Schweinsteiger showed his quality. He controlled the midfield well and made a lot of smart passes, but injuries soon became a major problem, stopping him from playing regularly. His speed and physical strengths were not the same as before, which was a big difference from his energetic performances in Germany. Things got even harder for him when Jose Mourinho became the manager in 2016. Mourinho didn't see him as a part of his plans, and Schweinsteiger barely played. At one point, he was even sent to train with the reserve team, showing that the club no longer considered him important. The Premier League fast and physical style also didn't suit him at this stage of his career. His injuries made it difficult for him to keep up with the intense schedule, and he struggled to recover quickly between games. After playing only 35 matches in less than 2 seasons, Schweinsteiger left United and moved to MLS to join Chicago Fire. Casemiro. Casemiro's move to Manchester United in 2022 from Real Madrid brought an immense excitement, as the Brazilian was seen as a critical piece to improve the problematic midfield of Manchester United. Known for his defensive prowess, tactical intelligence and ability to control the tempo of the game, expectations were high for him to replicate his successes from La Liga and the Champions League. Initially, Casemiro struggled to adapt the fast-paced and physical demanding nature of the Premier League. His early games showed that he needed time to adapt. He often looked slower than he usual, which was surprising for a player known for reading the game well and having a strong defensive positions. Because of this adjustment period, his performances were not as strong as expected, making some people question if he was the right fit for the team. Casemiro's role at Manchester United also has been a topic of discussions. At Real Madrid, he played mainly as a defensive midfielder, focusing on breaking up attacks and protecting the defense. But at United, he has been asked to do more in attack and help in a build-up play from deeper positions. This change has sometimes left United's defense open, especially on counter-attacks. Another challenge has been inconsistency of the team. Manchester United's squad has had ups and downs, and the frequent changes in the tactics have made it harder for Casemiro to settle in. Unlike at Madrid, where he played in a well-structured team, the instability at United has made it difficult for him to have the same influence that he had at Madrid. Memphis Depay. Memphis Depay arrived at Manchester United in 2015 as one of the most exciting young wingers in Europe. After an outstanding season at PSV, where he finished as the league's top scorer, many saw him as a player who could add pace, flair and goals to United's attack. At first, his direct style and confidence suggested he could thrive in English football. However, he soon struggled with the league's physicality and high intensity. Some games he looked unstoppable, dribbling past defenders and creating chances, but too often he would disappear, unable to influence matches. This inconsistency made it difficult for him to earn a regular place under Louis van Gaal and later Jose Mourinho. Another challenge was his role in the team. At PSV, he was a natural attacking threat, playing high up the pitch and cutting inside to score. At United, he was sometimes asked to play in a deeper or more defensive roles, which didn't suit his profile. This shift limited his attacking impact and disrupted his confidence. Wearing the famous number 7 jersey only added more pressure. Legends like Cristiano Ronaldo, David Beckham had worn it before him, and the weight of expectations seemed to affect him. Instead of being the team's next superstar, he struggled to live up to the responsibility that came with that shirt. In 2017, Memphis left for Lyon, where he rediscovered his best form. His performances in France proved that his struggles at United were more about the system and the tactical fit rather than a lack of ability. It was a case of the right player at the wrong club, a reminder that even the talented footballers can fail if they don't fit into the team's style of play. Paul Pogba. The 2015 star boy of Juventus, Paul Pogba, returned to Manchester United in 2016 for a world record fee at that time. Many saw this is a homecoming for a French midfielder, who had become one of the best young talents in the world while playing in Italy. However, his second spell at United was filled with both high expectations and heavy criticism, leading to mixed opinions about his success. At United, Pogba showed moments of brilliance. He scored an incredible goals and displayed a great skill, reminding fans of his talent, but these moments were often followed by inconsistent performances, especially in important matches. One of the biggest discussions about Pogba was his position in the field. At Juventus, he played in an attacking midfield role that allowed him to be creative. However, at United, he was often used in deeper positions, which limited his attacking influence and made it harder for him to perform at his best. Injuries and off-field controversies also affected his time at United. His relationship with managers, especially with Jose Mourinho, was often in spotlight. They had several public disagreements, and these conflicts seemed to impact Pogba's focus and form on the pitch. Another challenge was the constant challenges in tactics and managers at United. Unlike at Juventus, where he played in a strong and well-organized team, United frequently changed their playing style. In 2022, Pogba left Manchester United and returned to Juventus on a free transfer. His second spell at Old Trafford remains a story of unfulfilled potential. While his talent was never in doubt, his time at United showed the difficulty of living up to massive expectations and how important it is for players to fit into the team's tactical system. Angel Di Maria. And in the first place, Angel Di Maria. It always interested me why he left Real Madrid, where he was thriving, and joined Manchester United. After a fantastic season with Real Madrid and helping Argentina reach the World Cup final, he arrived as a world-class winger. At first, Di Maria impressed. He dribbled past defenders, created chances, and scored a brilliant chip against Leicester City. But his good form didn't last long. One major problem was adapting to the physical and fast-paced style of Premier League, which was very different from La Liga. he struggled to stay consistent and found it difficult to cope with the intensity of English football. Tactically, he also didn't fit into Louis van Gaal's system. Di Maria played best when he had freedom to move and create, but Van Gaal preferred a strict, structured style. This tactical mismatch made it hard for Di Maria to perform at its best, and he often looked isolated on the pitch. Off the field, things were also difficult. His family had trouble adjusting life in England, and an attempted burglary at their home made things even worse. This affected his confidence and focus, making it even harder for him to succeed. After just one season, scoring only 3 goals in 27 Premier League games, Di Maria left United for Paris Saint-Germain. His time in Paris proved that the real problem was Manchester United, not the player himself. Manchester United has seen many players arriving with big expectations but leave with mixed results. Players like Veron, Juan Mata, Anthony Martial, Wilfried Zaha, Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Marcos Rojo each have their own story of hopes and challenges. Manchester United has some of the biggest signings in football history, but not all of them have been a success. Some players arrived with massive expectations only to fail under the pressure, struggle with injuries or simply not fit into the team. So let's look at this